Hello and welcome back, everybody. It is Thursday, the 21st of September. I'm your host, Captain Boy, thank you for being with us. Before we get started, go like and subscribe, comment down below, SZN. And an all new episode of the Fourth One podcast is out now. YouTube, so you can just go over there. You can Spotify. It's on Apple, iTunes, whatever. It's on Google Play, whatever. Also, I made a stream. Me and CFB3 are in a stream. Are in a Madden Fantasy League together. I am going to stream that and upload it on every game. I'm the Bears. It's very interesting. I'm very bad at streaming, but if you want to watch me play video games or you need some good background music, background noise while you literally do anything else, that's what I do. Yeah, I think it's perfect for that. I'm not even kidding you. I actually do think it is the perfect background noise just to have on in the background, because it's kind of pointless. You can look up, you can see how I'm doing, and just move on. So lots of stuff for you today. I'm going to get you all set for this weekend. This is the last sports report I'm doing this weekend. I'm going to let Christmas be Christmas. And so let's just kind of jump right in and get right to it. Alrighty, Florida State calls special board meeting amid uncertain future. While no official reason was given, sources indicate to ESPN that the board is expected to discuss long-term athletic futures. This comes in the wake of their football team going undefeated and then being left out of the college football playoff. However, it kind of goes back further from that. When all these leagues, the SEC, the Big 10, and the Big 12, sign new TV deals, SEC with ESPN, Big 10 with Fox, CBS, and NBC, and then the Big 12 with Fox and ESPN, when they signed their big deal, the ACC looked at the money these teams were making and were like, oh, crap. Specifically, Florida State. Their TV deal runs well into 2030. They have like 11 more years, I think. Like it goes up like 2036. So that would be like 12 more years. They have, yes, 2036. It runs through. So, and Florida State's looking at it going, why am I getting as much money while our school, Florida State and Clemson, but specifically us because they're thinking about themselves, get as much money as, say, a Wake Forest, a Syracuse, a Boston College? Okay? You can't tell me the record of those teams. I can't tell you the record of those teams, and I follow the sport on a day-to-day basis. In addition, any school that wants to leave the ACC would have to pay an exit fee of 3 times the league's operating budget, or roughly $120 million. No one has legally challenged the grant of rights. ACC officials have previously described the grant of rights as ironclad and firmly believe in the strength of the document. But Florida State has had its legal counsel review it at the league office in Charlotte, North Carolina. This is all according to Andrea Adelson, an ESPN senior writer. So basically, grant of rights is if Florida State pays, if their boosters come in and pay that $120 million, we want to go to the Big 10, we want to be independent, we want to go to the SEC, whatever, to get a new TV contract, whatever. The ACC is saying, no, we still have your television rights, Florida State. So you can play football, but we get to dictate who shows that on TV. The ACC would technically still own Florida State's rights in terms of television. So that's where this kind of gets tricky. Everyone sees this coming. If Florida State gets out, Clemson is getting out via the same way. North Carolina is getting out. Virginia, Pittsburgh, they're all going to get out. And then the ACC will be the next league to crumble, much like the Pac-12. Alrighty, let's get you all set up for NFL football. We got games on every single day of the week. The week starting tonight, the New Orleans Saints at 7-7 take on the Los Angeles Rams at 7-7. Ladies and gentlemen, this is must win for both teams. A win puts them both over 65% chance to make the playoff. A loss drops them both below 20% chance to make the playoff. So winner, very likely to make the playoff. Loser, unlikely to make the playoff. Rams are the hottest team right now in football. Saturday, Cincinnati Bengals, without Jamar Chase, without Joe Burrow, will take on the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are struggling themselves. They don't have Kenny Pickett. George Pickens will probably be benched. It is a just terrible thing happening in Pittsburgh right now for one of the great NFL franchises. Then to follow that game, that's at 4:30 NBC. Then 8 p.m. Peacock, the Buffalo Bills are taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers just fired their head coach. Buffalo Bills are hot. They need to win out to have a shot at the playoffs, and they've done that so far ever since they lost to the Eagles. Sunday, Christmas Eve, you have the Colts taking on the Falcons. Colts 8-6, right behind the Jaguars. Seattle taking on Tennessee. Seattle, after beating the Eagles Monday night, are right in there in the thick of things, back in it for a wild card spot. The Detroit Lions taking on the Vikings. Playoff seeding and just whether or not the Vikings can make the playoff, storylines abound there. Commanders and Jets, that's nothing. Packers and Carolina, big game for the Packers. Packers must keep winning. Browns and Houston and Cleveland, playoff contending teams. Jacksonville and Tampa. Tampa right now sits atop of their division. Jacksonville sits atop of their division currently, both by less than a game, so they both need a win. Arizona, Chicago, doesn't really matter. Dallas, Miami. Dallas needs to keep winning to win the division and get that 2 seed and home field advantage throughout the playoffs unless they meet the 1 seed. Miami needs to keep winning to win the AFC East and try to get the 1 seed away from the Ravens. New England, Denver, doesn't really, a big game for Denver, not really for New England. On Monday, Christmas Day, the Las Vegas Raiders, wow. The Raiders are going to Kansas City. Big game for the Chiefs, big game for the Raiders. Playoff implications for the Raiders, seeding implication in the playoffs for the Chiefs. A must-win for the Philadelphia Eagles. They've lost 3 in a row. They are taking on the New York Giants. New York Giants still technically have a shot at the playoffs. Eagles still technically have a shot at the division title. Eagles need to stop their 3-game skid. New York needs a win. It's in Philadelphia. How will that play out? And then finally, the nightcap. The 2 number 1 seeds, one from the AFC, one from the NFC. The Baltimore Ravens are traveling to San Francisco. This could be a Super Bowl preview, ladies and gentlemen. It should be one heck of a game. Loss means a team could sneak up on you and steal that 1 seed. However, San Fran now has a game lead on both, and the tiebreaker both on the Cowboys and Philadelphia, so they can afford to lose this and keep the number 1 seed. So that gets you all set up for an NFL weekend. Check that out. Put that on in the background. That's also nice background music if you don't want to watch me. Let's go on over to the NBA schedule. On Monday night, the Chicago Bulls walked into Philadelphia and beat them 108-104. Kobe White led the way with 24 points. Joel Embiid did have 40 points in a losing effort. Meanwhile, the Houston Rockets went to Cleveland and lost in overtime 135-130. Donovan Mitchell had 37 points there. And then the Dallas Mavericks went to the Denver Nuggets and lost 130-104. Jamal Murray had 22 points. Let's skip ahead to Wednesday. On Wednesday, the Utah Jazz went to Cleveland and lost 124-116. The Minnesota Timberwolves went to Philadelphia and allowed Joel Embiid to score his second 50-point game of the season. He finished with 51 points, and Philadelphia got the win 127-113. Denver went to Toronto as well and won 113-104. Nikola Jokic had 31 points in the effort. Some standings. I've really got to start calling this the 15-minute sports report. Just a lot of stuff to go over. The Philadelphia 76ers are 7-3 in their last 10. They are on a 1-game winning streak. They are 2 games behind the Boston Celtics and 1 game behind the second place Milwaukee Bucks. Both the Bucks and the Celtics are 8-2 in their last 10 games. So the top 3 teams in the East right now are some of the hottest teams in the NBA, or are the hottest teams in the NBA, because out west, the Denver Nuggets are 2.5 games back of the Minnesota Timberwolves, but are tied for second with the Oklahoma City Thunder as they sit in third. They are 6-4 in their last 10 games, currently on a 2-game winning streak. Meanwhile, the hottest team in the NBA, 9-1 in their last 10. They're on a 9-game winning streak. Those are the Los Angeles Clippers. They are now just 3.5 games back, currently in 4th place, a game behind the Nuggets and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Alrighty, let's switch over and check on our hockey teams we are following. The Seattle Kraken went to Dallas on Monday and lost in overtime. That's a big thing for them to do this season. They're always losing in overtime. 4-3 in overtime. Anaheim went to Detroit and won 4-3 there. On Tuesday night, Colorado went to Chicago and lost 3-2. And Vegas went to Carolina and lost 6-3. They just got throttled, ladies and gentlemen. And then on Wednesday night, Seattle, the Kraken went to Los Angeles to take on the Kings and won 2-1. Let's check on the standings. On the standings in the Western Conference, the Colorado Avalanche are 4-5-1 in their last 10 games. They've lost their last game. They now have 40 points, which is no longer good for first place. The Winnipeg Jets have 41 points. They are in first place. The Dallas Stars have 40 points and are in second place. Colorado Avalanche are 19-11-2 overall. They do sit 4 points ahead of the Nashville Predators. Meanwhile, in the Pacific, at 21-7-5, the Vegas Golden Knights have 47 points, 7-2-1 in their last 10 games. However, the Vancouver Canucks and the Los Angeles Kings are both within striking distance. The Canucks are 22-9-2 with 46 points, only 1 game, only 1 point back. The Los Angeles Kings are 18-7-4 with 40 points. 5-4-1 in their last 10 games. So if we look at the playoffs, just real quickly, in the Western Conference, the Jets, the Stars, the Avalanche would all make it. The Knights, the Canucks, the Kings would all make it. And then from the wild card would be the Predators and the Arizona Coyotes. In the Eastern Conference, in the Atlantic, Bruins, Maple Leafs, Panthers would make it. In the Metropolitan, dumb name for a division, by the way, Rangers, Flyers, Islanders, with the Hurricane and Capitals being your wild card teams. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in for another rendition of your 10-minute sports report. I really do appreciate everyone who tunes in and listens. Don't forget to like and subscribe this video and go check out all of our other videos. Everyone, I want you to have an awesome Christmas. Remember, this is the season of giving. I know people like to give gifts, but also we are kind of celebrating what the wise men gave Jesus. Remember who is the reason for the season. I pray God bless you. Know that God loves you. Wash those hands, you filthy animals, and we will see you next time.